what have been our favorite films of 2015 so far? And it's all subjective. Your lists are not going to look like our lists. I highly doubt our lists at this table are going to be the same. So, you know, actually, why don't we start with you over there?
All right.
What have been your favorite films of 2015 so far?
My top 5, or I have top 4. The Gift. I love thrillers. I love horrors. It wasn't really a horror, but we're kind of getting into that season. So I'm really excited for all the movies that are coming up. Trainwreck, obviously that's a given. Inside Out, and kind of a random one, Pitch Perfect 2. Maybe it's just because like I love to perform and I just like wanted to be in that German a cappella group. I left the theater like I want to perform. I want to be in this German group. And I think that that's what a movie's supposed to be. It's supposed to be.
Machine.
Exactly. I want like it was just so fun. I just like left and I wanted to like be a singer for the rest of my life. So yeah, those are my top 4.
Not many people know this, but whenever you ask Ashley a question around the office, she sings the answers.
Right. I do?
Yeah, she sings them. Somebody asks her where's the bathroom, and she starts breaks into
song.
And it's weird because you also I think she's screaming 9.
Christian, what about you? Your top 5 films.
All right, I'll do top 5. I do have other movies that the Straight Outta Compton and Ant-Man didn't make my list as far as top 5 goes, but the top 5 coming in at number 5 was actually Dope. It was
that's a great one.
Love that small movie.
Good.
Really enjoyed that film a lot. Number 4 is Inside Out. Inside Out to me was a film that you were right when you had seen it originally. Just Pixar back to form. Yeah. Just a movie that it didn't have all that humor normally that Pixar does, but it didn't need to because it was about emotions. It was emotional. It's just a phenomenal film and taught kids and people more about emotions. So it was actually a really important film, I thought. Number 3 was Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible 4 was a movie to me that Mission Impossible 5 was a movie to me that I didn't know if it was going to be able to top 4, and it did. And it did everything. A great villain, a great character stories. We've raved about it a lot. Number 2, Kingsman. Love the Kingsman.
Good choice.
Love that movie. That movie was a movie. It also could be in the one. What was the first category we did today? The one that I didn't see that movie
Best
coming.
surprising. Yeah.
Surprising. Nobody saw that movie coming.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I've seen it like 4 times already. I actually looking forward to sequel, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see that kid as young Han Solo. We'll see. And number 1 is Ex Machina. Nothing has phased that movie right now as being my number 1. It reminded me of what made THX 1138 back in the day so memorable. It is a movie. It is original sci-fi. It brought in amazing performances from Alicia Vikander and Oscar Isaac and Donald Gleason. All them together. It's like you just saw them as these characters. It was smart. It was thrilling at times, and it was just a movie that one that I had heard about. Like, oh, let's see, and I was just blown away.
Nice list. So I'll do my top 5. My honorable mentions would be Ex Machina, would be Dope, and would be Mad Max Fury Road would be my honorable mentions. But here's my top 5, and I know it's not going to match any of yours, but here it is. At number 5, Schnepp mentioned it earlier, It Follows.
Yes.
It's wow. You know what? And I'm kind of surprised I didn't put it on my most surprising list because I was also not really super thought anything of it, and wow, it's such a great low budget incarnation of modern horror and stuff like that. It was just a real pleasant surprise. If you've not seen It Follows, check it out. And cool premise, like really cool.
It literally makes you like one of those people who's yelling in the theater, "Don't open that door!"
Yeah, you know?
Why are you leaving the door open? And the weird lumbering creature, no, it's freakish.
Number 4 for me. I don't think it's gonna be on any of your lists, but the more I think about it, the more it impacted me. Cinderella. I just thought what Kenneth Branagh did with Cinderella was magical, especially coming off of some not so great live action adaptations that Disney had done. The film holds a very special place in my heart. I know it affected me more than it affected most people, and that's cool. That's why film is subjective. But for me, my number 4 is Cinderella. My number 3 is Ant-Man. With all the fears that we had about Ant-Man going into it and what could have gone wrong and the multiple director changes. People forget there were multiple director changes. It wasn't just Edgar Wright. Mm-hmm. That movie just turned out to be a very unique, different kind of Marvel movie that was lighthearted and fun and entertaining all at the same time. I had a great time watching Ant-Man. Number 2 for me, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. You're right. Just didn't need it to exceed number 4. Just, hey, if it can come close to number 4, that'll be great. And it did exceed. I think it was better on almost every level than number 4 in terms of the action, the excitement, the use of the characters, the story, the villain. I just thought it was a superior film in just about every way, and we all loved Mission Impossible 4. But number 1 for me still this year so far is Inside Out. I remember just being blown away by that film. And you have to watch it 3 or 4 times because you're going to miss little subtle lines here and there that just add new layers of brilliance to it. So that's my 5. It follows Cinderella, Ant-Man, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, and Inside Out.
I totally goofed, by the way, and I skipped over. Mad Max was my number 2. And I pushed. You got to push everyone back. It's Mad Max to me, and I know that I won't talk about it too much because I know you're going to talk about it. But it was a movie that visually, everything else, it was amazing. It was my number 2.
Yeah, when movies come out, it's easy to forget about a bunch of them. You're like, oh wait, that one too. So for me, honorable mentions, definitely The Gift. I mean, especially because I just saw it. It was so impactful. It's such an amazingly small film too. It's really
that looks terrible. It looks terrible.
Yeah, I mean, from the poster and things like that. Yeah, you're like, what is
trailer.
this? Yeah, you don't really know what it is. But when I say it's a small film, I just mean it's really just literally focuses on, the Jason Bateman, his wife, and then the Joel Edgerton character. It's really, and just there's other peripheral characters who are in it. Gordo. Yeah. So man, it's rough. All right, and then another honorable mention is Ant-Man. So for me, I really loved Ant-Man. I had those trepidations as well, following all the drama about what happened with the film. What a fun film. So those are my runners up. Number 5 for me is Paddington. I'm glad you mentioned it. I absolutely love that movie. I could not believe how much. I wasn't one of those kids I never had a Paddington bear, and I was like, I didn't really want to see the movie, and somehow I was like, let's go see Paddington. It was one of those whims, let's see Paddington. Maybe that.
Actually, Ray's got a Paddington on his desk. At least he did for a long time.
Ray is Paddington.
Yeah, Ray is secretly Paddington. So Paddington's my number 5. Number 4 for me is Straight Outta Compton. I really enjoyed that film. Say what you will about the ending, it didn't have a strong finish, but I thought the overall film, the way it was directed, the way it was put together, even with some of the rewriting of history or the softening or whatever you want to say, leaving out certain core scenes that people want to say, well, he did this. It's like, look, it's enough of the story of the way these guys created their band and created this legacy. I think it's great, and I like the way they wove in the rest of. It felt like this is a small part. Me and Holly were talking about this. This could be an amazing series of films, or documentary style biofilms. Number 3, Kingsman. For me,
yeah, nice,
fantastic film. Saw it multiple times in the theater, blown away. But it was also one of those could be one of those I didn't know it was going to be that good type of films. Even though it's Matthew Vaughn, you're just sort of like, and it was Mark Millar, and it was based off one of his comics. It was like, I don't know about this. The comic wasn't as flavory as the movie.
Colin Firth's an action star.
No, who would have thought?
Right?
I hear Freebird. I see that. Yeah. I see that in my mind. Number 2 for me, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Fantastic action film from top to bottom, from the very beginning all the way to the end. Fantastic, amazing fun. Never would have believed number 5 would beat number 4 for me. It did. It's like going in reverse. See, the best one is the last one. You'd never say that. It's like that's how it is with Mission Impossible. Incredible film. For me, number 1, Mad Max: Fury Road. Absolutely love that film. I cannot say enough about how great of a comeback that is for not only a franchise from 20 some odd years ago, for George Miller, who's best known recently for doing Happy Feet. You know what I'm saying? It's he was like, I'm sorry, I'm 70 years old. Let me get back in this rig. Bam, because that's one of the best action films of the decade. Incredibly well shot. A lot of people say there's not enough story. There's a story. It begins and it ends. Get with it. It's an insane movie. You should see it before you die. Get shiny.